Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Grim Reader. I'm Kathy Grimm, The Grim Reader, and I wanted to give you a update on my reading, kind of summer plans and slowly getting into the swing of things regarding my reading for the summer. And let's see, where should I begin? So I have my projects, right? And actually only one here is specifically a project, and that is, so I'll talk about that one first. I have started the Iliad, which I'm really glad I'm starting it. Sorry, it's kind of hard to get to the book. So this is my big heavy, well, it's not that heavy, but it's just kind of hardcover copy of the Iliad. And I do definitely want to get the Emily Watson translation at some point, but this is fine for now. So that's, and I started it and I already got to book 2, but I'm actually, I decided I was a little bit, I'm foreseeing a problem with the reading, not a problem, but just something I need to be aware of is if I get out of it, I forget it and I get confused when I come back, like what is going on. It's not as like a regular novel where you can just sort of pick it up. And so I need to sort of keep at it. Even if I only read a little bit every day, I think I'm going to have to sort of make it part of my summer schedule to read a little bit of the Iliad every day, so I keep with the plot at least. Because I was sort of getting confused. If you don't know, if you're not used to the whole setup and you're not that up on your Greek mythology, I got confused regarding, so who are the Greeks, who are the Trojans, basic at that level confusion. And so, you know, like Achilles is the chief, one of the chief warriors, and he's kind of duking it out a little bit with Agamemnon, the king of the Greeks. So it's sort of like an in fight within on the Greek side of things. And then you have the Trojans, and then you have all the gods. So it's point being, so what I've done is I actually, because I have time and I don't need to rush, I went back today and started just taking notes on the content, the plot, that what's actually happening. And the thing is, there's a ton of stuff online about the Iliad, and so I'm sifting through, well, which I should really figure out which are my favorite sites that I like to go to for this, because there's so many. And sometimes I don't like the way they write about, like when I look at summaries of things, it's just, I don't know, I have to find the ones that I like. So, but it's going well and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really quite shocking how some of the sort of petty aspects of human egoism and emotions, rage, anger, are so modern and so not old-fashioned, even though this is a very old text. And I love the descriptions, even though it's a kind of a different way of writing. And so that's part of the issue with the plot. The plot's sort of a little bit oblique, sort of behind the words. You have to figure out. I can sort of tell now that I'm rereading it, where I sort of know what's going on. And it's like, oh yeah, now I see that this is what's going on now. Now I know the plot and I'm reading it now. Before, when you're sort of figuring out the plot just by reading it, you're like, it took me a while. And I'm sure that'll happen again. And I just have to be patient with myself and get into the mindset of it all. And then you have to remember that it's all written in Greek, and that makes it even more fascinating. And I still really want to learn Greek, ancient Greek. I want to take at least a class. I don't know if I'll ever really get that far with it, but I do want to know about the words. Speaking of people who love words, let's talk about my other book that I decided to read, which was not a project, but it's kind of turning into a mini project, and that is this fairly recent biography of the Brothers Grimm by Dr. Stefan Martus. He's a German professor in Germany, Germanistic as we call it. He's a little bit younger than me, and he's a professor in Berlin. And it's really good. It's really good. What I know about the Brothers Grimms isn't that much, and it wasn't very detailed, wasn't very nuanced. And it was mainly from this fairy tale person in the States called Jack Zipes, who's written a lot of stuff about the Grimms and about German fairy tales. And he's the person whose article we read in the class. And it's adequate for what the class is, you know, the depth that the class needs. And what's fascinating to me about, I mean, I think I might just do a whole video on the Grimm stuff, but I think for a lot of people, the Brothers Grimm are like the Mother Goose. Like, they don't even really connect them to actual people. They're mythological to a certain extent. And of course they were not. They were two brothers who were very close and who had a really interesting life dedicated to what their interests to do with German stuff, for lack of a better term. And of course, I can, in the video that I make, I'll get a little bit more into who they were, where they live, what happened to them. My students are always happily surprised at how sort of topical their lives were. They lived through the Napoleonic wars in Germany, or German sections of Germany. We have to remember there's no Germany until 1870. So different states of Germany, and they wrote books and they, led lives. One of them got married. Wilhelm got married. And so anyway, so I think I will stop here and just say that I'm really enjoying it, and it's sort of getting me going on wanting to find out even more about them to a certain. And then one thing I'll probably try and do is, I'm not sure that I'll be able to do it, but since my trip in August is so short, but I would like to get to one of the main towns that's associated with them, which is Kassel, which is in Hessen. Hesse is where they're from, the middle part of Germany. And they have a new nifty museum. It's fairly new. It's not that new anymore, but it's been open for a couple of years, called the Grimm Worlds of Grimm. I would like to get to see that maybe. So we'll see. And that will be kind of a nice way to finish this project that I had of finding out about the Grimms. Let's see. So that's going quite well. I mean, it's going to take me a while. All of these books are big ones. And I'm shocked and happily surprised. So I started listening just because, I always have a book to listen on. And then I went and got a copy from the Oxford World Classics of Nicholas Nickleby. And apparently this is a portrait of Dickens. So he's supposed to be looking like handsome Dickens, and this is supposed to be somewhat similar to how Nicholas is supposed to look. I don't know. And all I'm going to say is it's absolutely fantastic. It's usurped even David Copperfield. The only one it has not toppled, and I don't think anything ever will, is Bleak House. But it's my second favorite besides Bleak House of the Dickensian novels that I've recently listened/read, which include Bleak House, David Copperfield, Little Dorrit, Barnaby Rudge, and so those are the least two favorites. They're kind of almost the same. I don't know which one I like less. Maybe Little Dorrit. I'm not sure. They're both not bad. They're still good. But this is fantastic. And I will get into my reasons as to why I think it's fantastic later on when I'm finished. I'm not finished. I'm on page 437, and it's 833 pages long. So it's long. But as I said, I'm listening to it, and then this is a book where I listen to it, but then I sit here reading it too sometimes, just because it's so good, and the plot's just dragging me on, and the characters are fantastic. I think why it's winning me over is it's so good on plot, like this. It's page turnery, and in a way that maybe the others were not. And so yeah, it's just really good. It's really good. I mean, David Copperfield's still a close number 3. Tell me your favorite Dickens. I don't know. I have a feeling that I know too much about Great Expectations to really think it will be that great. And same goes for Oliver Twist. I know the plot and I'm attached to the movie, but I don't know. We'll see. And I think that's it. So the other projects, so that we have the Stoic stuff. I got rid of the book. I think I already mentioned that, and I haven't really had a chance to dig into the meditations, which I might do. I think what I might do first is read up on Stoicism, like look at the Stanford philosophy page, sort of going into his history of what it is as a movement. That might be a good place to start. And then of course there is the French project, which I did start this, and what happened here, it's sort of like the same thing. I got a little bit bogged down in the prologue, or the sort of forward, where he does an overview of the book, and then he goes into some sort of more general things. And then I jumped over to the first person he talks about, which is someone called Lamartine, Alphonse, I think his first name is. And he sounds quite interesting, but then I always felt like, oh, I'm skipping over pages. I don't really want to do that. And so then I'm sort of caught in the limbo of, do I go back and do that, or just keep going with Lamartine, which is silly. I kind of use these little impasses they keep me from going on, which is silly. I think what I might do is not go back and then just keep going with Lamartine. But see, part of it was, I'm remembering, is even though Lamartine stuff is interesting, he's not as interesting to me as some of the other people. So then I was thinking, well, maybe I will just use it as a book that I jump around in. Am I allowed to do that? Take it off my Goodreads and just be a jump around book. I do want to read about Hugo, and I want to read about Sand, Georges Sand, even the woman who I thought was a man, Marie Dagout. Some of the other people are not so interesting to me, but maybe they are. So I probably should just try and read the whole thing, however long it takes me. So yeah, these issues that come up when you're trying to decide how to progress. And I think I'll leave it at that. I still have a couple of new additions that I wanted to talk to you about or just show them to you, but I think I'll save that for another time. And yes, I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you right now. I'm going to keep these short and try and get back into my reading. And yeah, I will keep you posted. Bill is planting tomato plants as I speak to you, so that's exciting. And at some point we'll go back into the yard and I'll give you a garden update for sure. And until then, happy reading and happy summertime and happy Memorial Day to I know it's not a happy holiday in terms of what it's commemorating, but still. And I will talk to you when I do pretty soon. Bye.